My name is Edward, I'm 27 years old, and if you saw me today, you'd probably think I had it all figured out, calm, collected, successful, maybe even lucky, but what you wouldn't see is the storm I came from, the years of silence, mockery, and humiliation I endured inside my own home, behind every laugh at our dinner table, behind every perfect family mask we wore for neighbors and relatives, there was a secret I wasn't supposed to speak. I was the one they mocked, the one they tested, the one who got things broken that weren't theirs. They thought I was weak because I kept quiet, but when I finally spoke the truth, their empire of excuses and lies collapsed in front of everyone, and that moment changed everything. Growing up, I was never the golden child. That crown belonged to Melissa, my older sister. She had Dad wrapped around her finger and Mom constantly singing her praises. Jason, my younger brother, followed closely behind her, always eager to laugh at her jokes, no matter how cruel they were. And me, I was different, quiet, observant, and because I didn't fight back, I became the easiest target. At dinner, Melissa would smirk across the table. "Edward, why do you always look like someone died? Lighten up, life's not that serious." Jason would snicker, tossing a piece of bread at me. "Yeah, man, maybe if you smiled more, people would actually like you." I'd force a laugh, swallowing the sting. "Maybe I just don't like fake smiles." Melissa would tilt her head with mock sympathy. "Oh, don't be so sensitive, we're just joking." But it was never just joking, it was constant. They broke things I cared about, a watch I saved for, a book I loved, a project I spent weeks on. They treated my things, my space, even my dignity, like they were disposable. And my parents? Sometimes they laughed along. Other times, they told me to stop overreacting. So I stayed silent. I told myself that's what families did. You swallowed the hurt, you kept the peace, you pretended everything was fine, but inside, I was keeping score, every insult, every broken thing, every smug laugh, and I was also noticing something else, the lies. My family liked to paint themselves as disciplined, hard-working, respectable, but I saw what they didn't want anyone else to see. The way Dad's business empire thrived on shady deals, the way Melissa's shopping sprees didn't match her supposed income, the way Jason bragged about investments that smelled more like scams. I noticed the bank statements, the debts, the numbers that didn't add up. I wasn't blind, I just wasn't supposed to say anything. Until the night I finally did. It was a dinner like any other. The table was dressed with Mom's best china. Dad sipped his whiskey like he was king of the world. Melissa had designer bags stacked in the corner from her latest spree. Jason bragged about a deal he'd pulled off. Their laughter was smug, echoing through the room. Then Melissa turned her sharp eyes on me. "So, Edward," she said sweetly, "what's your big accomplishment this week? Or are you still wasting time on that pathetic little dream of yours?" Jason chuckled. "Yeah, man, give us some entertainment. How's failure treating you?" Their laughter erupted again. Glasses clinking. That was it. Something inside me snapped. My fork hit the plate with a sharp clank, and I looked at each of them squarely. "You think this is funny?" I asked, my voice steady but my chest tight. Melissa smirked. "Relax, Edward, don't be so dramatic." "No," I said, louder this time, "you don't get to laugh at me anymore. You want to hear something funny? This family, this whole act, we sit here pretending we're perfect, but we're not, we're a joke." The room froze. Jason's grin faltered. Dad's hand stilled on his glass. "Watch yourself, son," Dad growled. I leaned forward. "No, I've watched myself long enough. Melissa, you act like a queen, but you've never worked a day in your life. Everything you have is bought with Dad's money. Jason, you think you're some genius businessman, but your ventures are one step away from getting you locked up. And Dad." My father's jaw tightened, but I didn't stop. "Dad, your empire isn't real. It's a house of cards built on lies, and you know it. I've seen the numbers. I've seen the accounts. You can pretend all you want, but when the truth comes out, and it will, everything you built will collapse." Silence, thick, heavy silence. The only sound was the ticking of the wall clock. Mom's hands trembled, Melissa's mouth opened, then closed again. Jason's eyes darted to Dad. Finally, Dad slammed his fist on the table. "Enough." But it wasn't enough, not anymore. I stood, my chair scraped loudly against the floor. I've carried your secrets for years, I've let you mock me, belittle me, treat me like nothing, but I'm done. From this moment on, I'm finished playing along. And I walked out. That night, I left with nothing but the clothes on my back and the fire in my chest. It was terrifying, but it was freeing. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like dead weight, I felt like someone who finally had a chance. The months that followed tested me. I slept on couches, took odd jobs, scraped together every dollar, but every time I wanted to give up, I remembered their laughter at that table. That memory became my fuel. Slowly, I built something of my own, a business, small at first, but mine. I worked late nights, made mistakes, learned, pushed harder. I surrounded myself with people who lifted me up instead of tearing me down. Piece by piece, I climbed out of the shadow of my family's empire. Meanwhile, their world unraveled. Melissa's credit cards were cut off when Dad's accounts started bleeding. Jason's shady deals caught up to him. People stopped trusting him. And Dad, the empire he bragged about for decades, crumbled under lawsuits, debts, betrayals. The house of cards collapsed exactly as I said it would. Years later, I walked back into that house, not as the boy they mocked, but as a man who had built his own success. They looked at me differently then. Melissa's arrogance was gone, replaced by shame. Jason couldn't meet my eyes, and Dad, he looked small for the first time in my life. No one mocked me that day, no one laughed, because they all knew the truth. I didn't need revenge, I didn't need an apology. Their downfall was louder than any words. And me, I had something better than their approval. I had peace. If you've ever been underestimated, mocked, or silenced by the people who should have supported you, let my story remind you, their laughter doesn't define you, your resilience does. Build your own path, even if it means walking away from theirs. If this story hit home, subscribe for more powerful storytelling, and tell me in the comments, have you ever proven someone wrong who doubted you? I want to hear your story.